Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko number 253X226DFGT. This is a threshold. This is a special threshold in the fact that it does a lot of good things for your installation, and it's one that I think you should know about. So let's start at the beginning. First of all, the funny part number, the 253 by 226, that's a reference to the fact that they're using two different extrusions. You've got this portion here, and you've got this portion here. And they're using this rigid plastic insert to marry the two together. The D is going to stand for your finish. This will be available in A for mill aluminum, D for dark bronze, and then G for gold anodized. The FG in the part number is going to tell you that this is a thermal break threshold. What does that mean? This rigid plastic piece that joins exterior and interior serves as a break between metal, transferring all the way from the cold exterior to the room temperature interior. The ability of thermal energy to jump from metal to plastic to metal is practically zero. And I can tell you that I've witnessed it firsthand. I've installed doors, frames, the whole 9 yards, thermal break thresholds. Chicago, middle of January at 4 in the afternoon, it's brutally cold outside. So cold that there's literally ice everywhere on the door, on the threshold, the whole 9 yards. Put your hand outside, don't leave it too long. You're going to leave part of your hand there. On the inside, while it wasn't room temperature, because it was still metal and it was still connected, it was still attached to the floor, I can tell you that it was significantly warmer than otherwise. And while thermal break thresholds are certainly more expensive, there's no question, I would love to know the energy loss at the constant radiating sub-zero temperatures on the interior of a building based on X number of openings, how wide, how long, things like that. They're costly up front, but I bet you over the lifespan of the installation, it's probably been proven to be cost effective, would be my best guess. So it's very smart in that regard that it's thermal break. Personally, there's weather stripping, and then there's smarter ways to do weather stripping. Drip caps would be an example of that, but also thermal break is an example of that. Thermal break is not, of course, restricted only to thresholds, but you will get thermal break frames as well, steel frames. You literally have an exterior portion of the hollow metal frame and then the interior portion, and they are hemlocked together by a special piece of extruded high-density plastic, thermal plastic elastomer, something like that. Or maybe a PVC based, I'm not really sure, but if you want to discuss thermal break frames, reach out to us. So that aspect makes this very smart. What also makes this very smart is the fact that it is a bump up style, and that's the T in the part number, this thermal insert that's here. Okay, a very durable, rubberized piece of material that will allow the door to close and make a seal, but a positive and quite continuous seal along the entire bottom of the door. The next smart thing about this, and this threshold is a confluence of three smart things. The third being thermal break 1, insert 2, 3 being this is also a latching panic style threshold or a latch track. This feature right here, this angled ridge to the threshold, here's where that's used. Not always, and mostly not, but when it is, it's perfect. Imagine a big box store, 100,000 square feet. The back wall of that is going to have 3 emergency exits. Those are generally double doors that have surface vertical rod exit devices. And of course, being exterior doors, they're fully weather stripped. The bottom feature to this, the latching panic part of the description, allows the bottom Pullman latch of a surface vertical rod exit device to latch directly to the threshold so that you are not trying to add an additional strike somewhere down below. That inevitably will be a maintenance issue, and certainly initially not going to dovetail very elegantly with the construction of a threshold. They're always haphazardly installed on the surface of a threshold. using poor means of anchoring generally I've seen. So it makes it a obviously an egress issue as well. So the confluence of all of that makes this a very smart threshold. The only Achilles heel I believe that it has is the fact that, assuming your door swings out, I personally would not want my barrier to be on the interior face of the door. I would augment this installation with a surface-mounted door sweep on the outside. I want to stop it dead in its tracks out here, break the thermal energy here, have a second seal here. That would be my, and you would always see that. You know, some people will install these without a door sweep, but the smart money says that you do so. You don't need that moisture coming into the bottom of your door from the exterior. It's just an open invitation. Now, dimensional properties, let's get onto it. This threshold is 5 1/8 inch wide. There you go. It is 1/2 inch tall down here. Okay. It's going to have an overall height of 7/8. And the 1/2 inch tall, along with the 7/8 dimension on height, is a perfect combination for typical hollow metal frames. Because a typical hollow metal frame is going to have a door, I should say, will have a 3/4 inch undercut. You give yourself 1/2 inch for the threshold. You're going to have 7/8 overall height, so you'll make nice, decent contact with this. Plus, also, should you have a very minor sill condition, you know, you still have a 1/4 inch from the bottom of the door, theoretically, to the top of the threshold. So you've got a 1/16, maybe an 1/8 of an inch of margin there to play with as well. Okay, give you the width dimensions as well. The inside extrusion width is 1.25 inches to the top of the lip. Okay, and overall, let's just disassemble it. It'll be easier to look at. An overall width of that piece, about 2 inch, roughly. The exterior piece, it's going to be about 3 inch. That 5 1/8 total comes in because that key stock that's inserted there is going to suck up 1/8 of an inch worth of space. Okay, and it all just literally slides back together. There are two ways for this to go together, and I will show that to you. And you'll note that I put it in the wrong way. See how there's a channel here? So if I were to remove this, flip it over, get that put back down in there. So you want to be aware of that. Now it's flush up at the top. Okay? And of course this thermal, that's meant to slide in and out. What you can certainly do is, after your installation, there are two ways for this to go in it as well. There's the correct way, and then there's the way that will really fight you to get it back in. You see how this has an angle, the angle portion is on the bottom, going up and away. That's the proper way. The other way is incorrect, where it would not be oriented that way. So the angle needs to be on the bottom. Okay, because when you get this, it's literally going to be loose like this, until, of course, you fasten it down. Keeping this from moving, you might want to just crimp the end of this ever so slightly. Okay? And now, lengths. This is going to be listed in the website in all the common lengths, from basically 2 foot to 8 foot, and generally about 6 inch increments. If you have need for a custom length, and by the way, this is literally just a sample, literally, for purposes of this video. If you have need for a custom length, by all means, let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces, and simply indicate in the comment field what length you want us to ship the material back to. The reasoning is this. If this was the genuine article, that first countersink in both of these pieces would be about 4 or 5 inches from the end. If you had to take a 4-foot piece and cut it down to, say, 42 inch, you'd eliminate that countersink. You'd be stuck cutting everything to length and drilling and countersinking the new holes to get it attached. The advantage of ordering a custom length: indicate in the comment field the net length of the next longest piece. Will not only get everything cut to length, but will locate those countersinks at the proper distance from the edge, but the proper center to center as well. Saving you all that work is just simply the bottom line. Plus, it'll be a factory clean sort of edge that you'll have on there, and you won't have to tolerate the potential for risk just simply making a wrong cut, things of that nature. Now, you can do lengths longer than 8 foot, but because of the cost of shipping things longer than 8 foot, we don't list them. It's almost always quite prohibitive. If you're doing a job and you need 30 12-foot thresholds, it's not going to be an issue. If you needed one 10-footer, it's going to be a problem in terms of freight cost. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Pemko products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, along with a link to the full product catalog. The name Pemko is synonymous with all things weather stripping, both commercial and residential. Not only thresholds, but perimeter gasketing and door sweeps. Material made of aluminum, stainless steel, and architectural bronze. Their name is synonymous with the broadest available spectrum of different types, varieties, and shapes from a single manufacturer. So if you have more than an occasional need for weather stripping, by all means familiarize yourself with their product catalog. Any questions on the Pemko? This is their part number 253X226DFGT bump up, thermal brake, latch track, or panic threshold, or any other Pemko product. Please feel free to reach out to us.